Today will be a bit of nostalgia. I'm going to speak about Dubai. Dada. Oh, I thought I'd speak on, after being in Dubai for 40 years as an expat, like it has been 5 years now. How do I feel? How do I feel about it when I look back at that decision of leaving Dubai? Was it the right thing? Was it the wrong thing? Why am I like, yeah? Or am I like, shit, man, I made a mistake? Like, how is it? Is it like, telling you, fuck you, I left Dubai? Or is it like, shit, man, like, I made a big mistake? So I'm not going to go on a script. I don't know, from my heart, I felt like speaking about it. I think because a day or two ago, I had this conversation with one of my friends who's there in Dubai. He's also planning to leave Dubai after many years. So if you have been an expat in Dubai or UAE, or if you are an expat for a long time, you'll relate to what I'm saying. So I'm going off script and just speaking from the heart. Okay? Now, contrary to what people say, oh, you hate Dubai, oh, you're jealous of Dubai, because I highlight some of the drawbacks. UAE is family to me. If you're not a long-term expat, you'll not understand this. Dubai it's a family to me. It is so close to my heart. UAE is, even though I have an Indian passport, you ask any expat who is born in UAE, any expat who is born, who has lived, who has studied there, whatever passport he has, he doesn't feel this is his country. He doesn't feel any attachment to that country whose passport is issued by default. Rather, he identifies himself as a citizen of UAE, even though they don't take you as a citizen. You feel UAE is your home, Forget citizen, even you don't want that title. You feel as an expat, UAE is my home, UAE is my family. And again, contrary to what people say, we don't hate Emiratis, man. Emiratis, very seriously, on a heart-to-heart note, Emiratis are some of the best Arabs. The best Arabs. I know there are some psychotic ones, there's some crackpot ones. That is there in every culture. But the real Emiratis, the real Emiratis, even if, their culture, their values, everything is different, they're very nice people, man. Among all the Arabs, I've met Kuwaitis, I've met Saudi, I've met Qataris. I'm telling you, UAE, Emiratis, they're very nice people. Yes, there are bad apples, but that doesn't make all the apples a bad fruit, UAE is my home. I still consider UAE my home. It's my family. It's a country I love, Just imagine, just think. You spent your entire childhood there. You spent your schooling there. You had your friends over there. You watched from a desert, you watched buildings being created. You watched memories grow. If you have been like me in Dubai from the 80s, early 80s, you'd know Al Ghurair Center and Sindbad. Sindbad was a place where you played arcade games. That was the only shopping mall that time. Only one shopping mall in Dera. And it was like a once in a lifetime trip for poor income families or middle class families to go there one time and play arcade games. I remember my parents used to, we were like so eager to go through the shopping mall and go right upstairs. I don't know which floor it was, maybe on the second floor or whatever. And take 20 dirhams or 10 dirhams. And each game you can put 1 dirham and play. Oh, the happiness of playing those arcade games. Boxing and wrestling, WWE. And oh, the color and the noise. Oh, get the Sindbad tokens. I remember the childhood days where there was this Al Nasser leisure land. It was an ice rink. Oh, what memories, man. My school was Saji Indian school. All the teachers were Malbari, Keralite. I'm half Malayali, so don't get offended. So, all Loy Machedo, Markadan. So, the beauty of Dubai, the beauty of living in UAE, especially if you have been so many years, there are some things you'll never get anywhere in the world. Parota and keema in a Malayali shop, karak chai. I used to always call it kadak chai. I never called it karak chai. K-A-R-A-K. I call it kadak, means like hard. I don't know why. It's karak chai. There were some places where in between Sharjah to Ajman, there were these shops only selling tea. And there were all these four-wheel drives and Nissan and all these cars only ordering tea. And no place. The guy used to sell 700, 800 teas in a given day. His entire business was just making teas from morning till early morning until they shut it down. And yeah, shawarma. Oh, see, here on the island also they call it. You'll find it funny. They call it kebab. K-E-B-A-P. Kebab. They don't call it shawarma. But here's the thing. The one that they make in Dubai, the Malayali cafeterias, that yogurt, they put yogurt and salted or whatever. They put that Arabic sweet salted pickle and that meat, that French fry. That taste you cannot get anywhere in the world. I tasted it here. It's so bland. I don't know, there's that authentic flavor. And then there are these Indian restaurants where you can have masala dosa. Especially one of my favorite was Rava masala dosa. It has been I think 5 years since I had a dosa. 4 years, 5 years. Initially when I came here, Thai food. Oh wow, Thai food. I'm fed up. Now I don't. I'm like, enough. It's like you eat a sweet and you eat a sweet every day until one day you're like, I don't want to see this sweet. I miss my, like they say, your roots. So there are these memories. St. Michael's Church was there. I used to go to church once a week. I used to go to my school, at my friends. We've seen our childhood, man. We had that. Today you have MP3 players and music systems, and those days we used to have an amplifier, equalizer. It's a big shelf where you have a tuner, you have a amplifier, you have a equalizer, you have a tape deck. It's like a big thing, and up is for vinyl records or something. It was like a big thing. Oh, every house used to have it. The TV was like a CRT monitor, big one. Remember Sony Triniton and all that? Those days. We used to have VHS tapes. Those who have been in UAE many years will know. King's Video, Al Mansoor Video. They used to... there was no piracy law, so they used to take original tapes from India or from USA, wherever, and they used to busy copy it on other empty tapes. They used to copy it on empty tapes and give it for rent. I think one tape was 10 dirham or something. Can you imagine? That time there was Windows 93, Windows 95. Oof. Dial-up connection. Oh, and before that there was no internet also. Can you imagine? There was no internet. There was no smartphone. There was no the only phone that was there was like a military big ass, such a big as my forearm. That big a military phone. Those days you had the phone which was connected to the wall, man. And dial up, And Itisalat used to give that nice phone, white one, beep, 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 beep. There was something called pager. I'm sure today's generation doesn't know what is a pager. If you have to contact your salesman, where is he? Oh, he'll say, oh, pager, someone call me. He'll go to a telephone booth. Something called telephone booth. It's like, there'll be a telephone here. You put your electronic card. Itisalat had those cards. You put a coin. Hello, yes. Or you used to go to a receptionist office and say, can I use your phone? There is no mobile phone. And now it is smartphone. Music those days, you had to listen to only FM. Those days there was only channel 33. Oh, channel 33, Richard Coram, FM 92. There was only one. Oh man. My childhood. Just think, where did it all go? Where did it all go? Life just passes you by, Those days, if you wanted to start a business, you'd need a local Emirati partner. By default, you would get 51%. Those in the 70s and 80s, only Emiratis could have a four-wheel drive. Only they could tint the vehicle. And if you needed a four-wheel drive, like a Land Cruiser or anything, Indians those days anyway, they were hardly whites. You have to take special permission from the government. Special permission, imagine. And only, high-class white people would have it. Indians would never have it. It is only later on when Al Futtaim took permission and all that, they allowed it. I do not know the exact story there. But then once they realized if you have to expand the market, you have to allow people to have it. Car tint only locals could get. I think 80-90%. But then they started allow 10-20% Indians. Out of fascination, I tried putting a dark tint. Bloody couldn't see anything. I don't know how. Oh, Emirati locals always liked Nissan Sunny, Nissan Maxima, and those four-wheel, that was their favorite. Those are memories, yeah. See, in hindsight, no, when I look back, I look at it as a priceless moment, Like, think of your childhood, your mother, father, you're spending time with them, you being a child. The only thing you have to do is study. I remember school books in Sargentian school. After the open house, you would go to the school store which would sell you books. You get these brand new books looking so nice, and you would put a brown paper on them and put a sticker and write your name, and so nice. And after 1 month, all the books were crumpled and everything was bad. And we would wait to go from first standard to second standard. The school buses had no AC those days. Life. It's a part of your life. You can never hate it. I never hate UAE. I never hate my Emirati brothers, and I never interact with the Emirati women, but mainly Emirati men. It's, from Sharjah to Dubai, I remember Pakistani taxis used to take 2 dirhams or 4 dirhams. Then it became 7 dirhams. And it used to take us, you'll not believe, 7 minutes to go from Sharjah to Dubai. Then at the peak of its traffic, it became 15 minutes. Then they adjusted the road, it became half an hour, then became 45 minutes. Then during the construction boom, it used to take almost sometimes 3 hours. Then they got away with Pakistani taxis, and Pakistani taxis used to have that Pakistani smell. They used to make their taxis look so colorful and beautiful and decorated with the carpet, and some of them used to smell like incense and beautiful. And when you open the taxi, I want to go there, how much? 5 dirham, no, 3 dirham, no, 4 dirham, no, okay, no, yes, no. Then sharing taxi, 2 dirham, come, fast. Memories. I still remember the first time Burjuman opened, was the first like big shopping mall after Al Ghurair. And I used to see the Dome Cafe, which was down. My dream was to have a coffee there, because I used to always have Malbari coffee and Malbari chai. I used to pass by. Oh, 20 dirham coffee. Oof. There was no Starbucks those days. For there, Costas and all. 20 dirham coffee. Oof. 20 dirham. It was always my dream to eat there. I used to see all these Gora guys with big suit, and I was like, one day I'll drink coffee. And then I used to check French toast. Ooh, French toast. I don't know what is. Must be some toast French. I remember after I could afford a little bit, I used to eat there every day. Just to show off. Just to feel. Then when Burj Al Arab came, oh, it was my dream to eat there. Oh, I actually spent money. Oh, I remember the first time I went there, I felt like, first time I ate there. I'll make a video on eating there the first time. It was such a funny thing. I didn't know how to order. I didn't know the difference between sparkling water and still water. That guy came to me and said, sir, would you like sparkling or would you like still? I was like, Yendada sparkling, Yendada still. I said both. Because I didn't know what to say, man. Sparkling or still water. Nobody asked me that question. The only question they asked, what do you want to eat? Mundi masala, kundi masala, chicken 65, chicken chukka. You know, when you go to a Malayali restaurant. That was my life. You know, when you make the decision, or when the thought starts hitting you, I need to leave UAE. It's a very big decision. It's a very big decision. It's not a decision that you take lightly. It's like uprooting your life, saying goodbye to the very foundation which you spend years and years building. It's like a family, you know. It's like everything that you made, you have to sell off everything and maybe go to a new land where you do not know anyone or nobody knows you, where nobody cares about you. You just don't know what lies ahead. It's a very scary thing, you know. It's very uncertain. No matter what anyone tells you, it's a life-changing decision, you know. For me, I think I used to always think UAE will be my home. I remember my mentor and CEO of that company used to always say, Loy, what will you do? I said, Dubai, I'll stay forever. Stay forever here. I don't care. Never going to leave. I always thought Dubai was home. In fact, I remember in school when they used to say India is my country, I was like, what India? I literally used to think UAE is India. Seriously, I used to think UAE is India. Yeah, those days Google was not there. There was no Google. And by the way, for those of you who are old as me, remember ICQ? Remember Hotmail? Ooh, free email. Ooh, I was like, wow. Internet. I was like, what is internet? Oh, you can have ICQ chat. Oh, wow. And Yahoo groups. Ooh. That time there was only search engine. There was no search engine. Can you believe there was no search engine? So when you are going to leave now, it's a sinking feeling. It's like a big decision. Very big. Everything that you build, your identity, your friends, your family, your social life, your everything that you're happy, comfortable, everything you have to say goodbye. I remember the first time I had to leave UAE was during the Gulf War, when they thought Iraq was going to bomb Kuwait with nuclear warheads or whatever. So many Indians left. My parents left. When I went to Bombay the first time there, I remember crying every day for, I think, literally 2 weeks when I was in Mumbai. We stayed there 8 months. My parents tried to make it work, and then they realized and they came back. Adjusting to India itself was a major thing. Then when coming back, it took me some time to adjust to the dry weather, because you're so used to it, you don't even think about it. But after some time, got used to UAE life again. So that was my first episode of leaving. Remember the 80s Gulf War? What a time that was. The second time, I think, where I got introduced to being made aware of the fact that UAE is not my country, is every time I had to go for a visa change when working. It was a very scary thing to lose a job, because I thought that was the end of the world. I was very afraid to lose my job. But, like they say, what you're afraid of happens the most. I lost my job so many times that I became used to it. So it continued that way until, you must have seen that video, 2011 Loy Machedo suicide. That was a pivotal turning point. And then when you come back, or when you come back with a visa stamp, and there's this immigration officer who's new, who doesn't know anything, and who's just trying to do the formalities. He's trying to be good service. And they like to act like foreign countries. So they say, what is the purpose of your visit? Just imagine, you have been born and raised in UAE for 30 years. The guy's looking at your passport and asking you, what's the purpose of your visit? Fuck, it makes you like, what are you talking, man? And then you begin to wonder, like, what? And then you tell him, I was born here. Okay, Fadal, welcome. It's your home. The way he makes it sound is as if, yeah, okay, I'm trying to make you feel good. For me, the pivotal point of change came that 2011, where I realized I can't do this anymore. Running around for a visa, trying to struggle to get a visa, to make ends meet. And the question came, how long can I do this? And then I think it accelerated only because my face was tattooed. Only because of that. Otherwise, believe me, I would have continued staying in UAE, because, I had my own visa. One of the main reasons why I left in a hurry, one, I'll give you the other ones, was, whenever you go for a visa renewal for your passport or whatever, my friend gave me a visa. You have to either go personally with the passport, or you have to give it through a PRO. And for free zone visas, I think you have to also give your updated photos. So I was to give my photos where I have without a tattoo. If you check my Facebook or you check any of my old videos, I've shown the photograph of me without tattoos on my face. So whenever I would give that, they would just stamp, and because in the passport, my old photo was there. Every 10 years, you renew your passport. So now my passport was going to expire in 2 years or so. This time what I decided is, instead of that old photo with the suit, I'll give the photo with the tattoos, the latest updated one. My friend who gave me the visa said, Loy, listen, give the one without the tattoos. I said, no, it's okay. People accept me this way. He insisted, but I insisted even more. Finally said, okay, fine, we'll give it. He gave it to the PRO. To my shock and surprise, they said, this is not allowed. How is he getting the visa? You remember that German guy, Rolf something? You can just Google, sir. German guy, he gets his entry barred into UAE because they believe he is teaching black magic. His face was tattooed, he has horns. So after that incident took place, everyone thought that tattooed guy was me. On social media, everyone thought. So when I had given my visa for renewal, they said, how is this guy in the country, and they wanted to make a police case and all that. So I realized, shit, I might as well give the old photograph without the tattoos. So I gave it, it got approved. But then it struck me, fuck, I have 2 more years or 3 more years before I have to update the photograph on my passport. Then by default, they may never give me the visa. Then what will I do? So that was the first sense of urgency. But I had 3 years. But the second thing was, VAT was going to be introduced in UAE. That was the first time ever, you know. And that left many people worried. And then on top of that, I guess I was questioning, what am I going to do next? How long am I going to be here? How will I make money? You know, so many things. Because end of the day, when you're in UAE, no matter how much money you make, you end up spending everything. Raining slightly. It's raining, see? So no matter how much money you make, you end up spending. Then you begin to wonder, like, am I just living, existing just to pay my bills? See, don't get me wrong, UAE provides the best standards of living. The best. The facilities that UAE gives you, from the bookshops to the shopping mall to the bars, the pubs, the food, the cuisine. Oh, you can get the most expensive brands in the world in Dubai. If iPhone launches in US, you can be rest assured in Dubai it'll come the earliest. So that kind of luxury is there, but there's a price to pay. And sometimes we as expats, we get so caught up believing that UAE is home, we don't even consider that this is a temporary phase. Ask any expat. Ask him this question. If tomorrow, when it's time to retire, what do you do? They always like to push back this question. We'll see that time. We'll see that time. Or, you know, let's see when we come to that bridge, then we'll cross. So people generally feel still time here. So I think for me, the one was the visa, one was the VAT. Then obviously one thing led to another, searching, and then Thailand. One of my friends said, let's go to Thailand for a holiday. I never went anywhere out of UAE. Thailand was going to be the first place. It's raining. I don't know if you can see it. So Thailand was going to be the first place. So I said, okay, let me go and enjoy. He said, there's walking street, which I didn't know. There's a red light district, which I didn't know. There are girls. I was like, I don't know what is all this. Okay, I'll go. And after coming to Thailand, I wanted to come here again and meet, you know, my that time girlfriend. And finally, here I am. In hindsight, when I look back, I think you can hear the rain, no? In hindsight, when I look back now, I'll tell you that because of this COVID crisis, even if the COVID crisis was not there, I left at the right time. Personally speaking, I left at the right time. The reason being is it was becoming harder, for me at least. It was becoming harder for me to live there. The expenses. And I think the biggest question was, I was going to reach 40. Okay, I was going to reach the age of 40. And then what happens is, you know, that midlife crisis, once you reach 40, you always ask yourself, now what? Because when you reach 40, you realize you have another 20 more years before retirement. 40, to get a job also is hard. And then if you lose your job when you're in your 50s, nobody wants to give you a job. 60s, forget it, you're retired, even if you're active. So I had to make the decision fast, because, you know, when you go to a new country, you have to start from scratch, from zero. And, you know, I had to make the choice fast. Funny, you know, raining. Yeah. So I had to make the choice fast, I had to leave fast. And so I made the decision. Let me tell you it was not easy. It was not at all easy. It was tough, it was painful. It took a lot of courage. It took a lot of, once you make the decision, you can't go back on it. So it was like last and final, It is a last and final call. So I had to make the final call. Because once you leave, it's best you don't come back. This is the mistake many people make. They leave and they come back, they leave and they come back. When you leave and then when you come back, it's only going to be harder. So today as I look back, what are the things I miss in Dubai? Yes, the luxury, the lifestyle, the shopping malls, the cinema, the brands, eating out, the lifestyle, the routine that any person has in UAE. Shopping at Carrefour and this. I think more than that, it is your identity. The people that you grew up with, the families that you knew, the friends that you had. But as you become older, one by one, they also vanish. Your friends go, school friends no longer, you're in touch, college friends, workmates. One by one, everyone vanishes. And then you realize, okay, man, it's no, hardly anyone knows me. What do I do now? Personally, I think I'm lucky, just straight up lucky that I left at the right time. Because had I been there now and given this COVID restrictions, I don't know what the fuck would I do, man. Just imagine you're locked up in your house. You can't go out, you can't do anything. People can't come and meet you. I don't know how would I run my business, how would I get shows, how would I do events, how would I meet people. And for me, I didn't have a job, like I used to do freelancing. And like they say, in UAE, the expense meter never stops. So in my case, I left at the right time. I was absolutely lucky. And today, when I came here, I started a new chapter of my life. I said goodbye to the old ways. Girls, being a playboy, living a fast life, spending money, like much more worse than what I'm doing now. Decided to have a child and in this country. I've just been lucky. I can just tell you that much. I've been lucky. And now life just goes on. Now when I look back, I just see those memories, those moments, the glamour life of UAE. Like they say, nobody gives a fuck, nobody cares. Life just goes on. And that's what it is, man, And you realize at some point, the reality, nobody gives a fuck. Whether you exist, you don't exist, as long as you're beneficial to them, they'll want to be in touch with you or remember you or talk about you or meet you or call you. But the day you don't have the power or the money, like they say, out of sight is out of mind. So bye bye. If I could go back, would I want to go back? Given my controversial videos, and I know I'll be arrested on the spot and put in jail for the rest of my life. But let's assume that was not there. Maybe I would just go just to get a feeling, that these are the places, the Gold Souk, Rola, Dubai, SNTTA building, Danata building, Al Ghurair, see the old places. Just have that happiness in the heart. This was my life once. And that's it, man. But then again, I know I can't do it. And it's not high on my list. Right now, what is high on my list is my business, my expense, my family, my life, my new life at least. So that is what it is after 40 years of leaving. My only advice, my only suggestion to you is just remember UAE is not your home. Don't fool yourself unless you are some really big, rich businessman. But then again, if you're really rich also, just remember what happened to B.R. Shetty. There are so many other businessmen like B.R. Shetty who are not mentioned. He was mentioned because he was the most famous, or he liked to be in the public limelight. But like him, there are so many who lost everything or decided, no, I need to get out of here, or I made some bad business decisions. I have checks and all that pending. And so I would just tell you that leave before they throw you out. It's better you leave before they throw you out, because if they throw you out on their terms, then you're going to have a tough time. But if you leave on your terms, you can at least plan it out. So the only advice I would give you is, yes, it's a beautiful relationship, it's a wonderful place, it's great memories, but better leave before they throw you out. Because once your time is up, like they say, there are no second chances. That's all I have to say, man. That's all I have to say. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know your thoughts. And who knows, maybe another day I'll put some more memories of UAE. If you have any questions, let me know. Put your thoughts and comments down below. And yes, it'll be nice to network with people who have been in UAE for very many years. It's raining. Time for me to go. This is something you don't see every day in UAE. Rain. Never planned this video in a rain. Anyway, chal, you guys take care. Okay? See you.